Well, moving on now, and military intelligence in the UK is tonight still working to try to confirm reports that chemical weapons were used on the besieged Ukrainian port city of Mariupol. The claims were made by the Azov battalion, a far-right militia that has been integrated into the Ukrainian army. It claims a white smoke was released from canisters dropped by Russian drones, leaving the soldiers below dizzy and unable to breathe. Now, Britain said all options are on the table if those claims are verified. From Kyiv, Peter Smith reports.
This is the 48th day of siege in the port city of Mariupol. Conventional bombs and bullets have done this damage. Now Ukrainian fighters here allege they were attacked with chemical weapons. Footage taken by Ukrainians defending this city purports to show victims of an unknown noxious substance.
I could hardly breathe and immediately felt dizzy. My legs gave way.
The allegation of a chemical attack in Mariupol cannot yet be verified, but what we know is Ukrainian fighters are surrounded at this factory, the Azovstal Iron and Steel Works. This is the base for the Azov battalion resisting Putin's advance, and ITV News has today been able to speak to one of their volunteers still fighting on here, and he tells us what he saw.
The enemy dropped the canisters with some kind of aerosol chemical, and it was like a cloud of fog or something like a cloud of smoke.
What are the symptoms?
Difficult breathing, but people were fainting. I may assume that Russians can use this again because they hate us so much. And we're still standing, and we will stand until we have our weapon in our arms and until we're breathing.
Russian state-controlled TV has released these images of Mariupol's destruction, but Russian-backed separatists have been openly talking up a chemical attack on the Ukrainian resistance.
We should ask for chemical units who will find a way to smoke those moles out of their holes.
The separatists deny a chemical attack, but this city is still under constant bombardment, meaning independent investigators can't get anywhere near to examine the evidence.
They are sure of their impunity. They are sure that it can turn out that the world will forget this for them, that Europe will forget this, because Europe's complaints can just be brushed aside.
It took Russia's retreat to uncover the full scale of atrocities around Kyiv, but in eastern Ukraine, Putin is still sending reinforcements. The world can only guess at the horrors hidden in the besieged city of Mariupol. Peter Smith, ITV News, Ukraine.
Well, in Russia, Vladimir Putin was taking time out from his war duties to take his longtime ally, President Lukashenko of Belarus, on a tour of a space station. Mr. Putin's pronouncement about the war was chilling. The military campaign would continue, he said, until its objectives are fulfilled. From Moscow, here's our correspondent, Carl Dinnan.
3,500 miles from Moscow, Vladimir Putin flew to Russia's Far East today, visiting a space centre with his closest ally, the Belarusian leader, Alexander Lukashenko. Here he defended his country's actions in Ukraine. We are helping, he said, saving people on one hand, and on the other, taking measures to provide security for Russia itself. It's obvious we didn't have any other choice. This is the right decision. And, he said, peace talks had reached a dead end. His visit marks the anniversary of Russia sending the first man into space. Mr. Putin, ever proud of the Soviet Union, said they'd done that despite Western sanctions. But the world has moved on, and so has Russia. There are people, especially amongst the young, who oppose what their government is doing in Ukraine and are brave enough to say so.
It violates all norms of international law, and I'm totally against it.
Are you worried about what speaking out like this might mean for you?
But I was afraid for too long, and I think now we should speak up, Russians, because we somehow isolated in the world, and I think the world should know that there are many Russians who are against this.
But in truth, there are even more Russians who support it. The Ukrainians betrayed us, he says. They sold out to the Americans so the Americans could put their weapons near our borders. Even Russia's last remaining independent polling company says the conflict has increased the percentage who say they support Putin.
Because October last year it was about 63, something like this. So already with the escalation started, the rating was going up, but it went up considerably during March. End of March, we had about 83% support.
So there is little sign that domestic pressure will make Mr. Putin change course. However isolated he and his friends are looking on the global stage. Carl Din, ITV News, Moscow.
Finally, a toddler reunited with a very special item. Veronica and her mum fled Ukraine to come to the UK, but she had to leave behind her doll. But as luck would have it, when they arrived, they spotted one exactly like the one she left behind. It was in a warehouse run by the charity Stripy Stork, which is based in Reigate. The charity said that both Veronica and her mum got very excited when they saw it. They gave it to her, and Veronica even blew the staff a kiss as they left. How cute. We wish them well.